Hello, friends and family. I hope I find you well wherever you are. Thank you so much for stopping by on my channel. I hope our meeting here will be meaningful in both directions for me, having received your comments and you supporting my channel, and from me getting some helpful information about life. On this channel, I share everything from being mother, grandmother, a professional, I'm a nurse, retired, traveler, and just sharing about life in general. I hope you will enjoy and get one or two nuggets from the conversations that I share. Now, the point of this conversation is while you are still young and you're moving your children or having children abroad, plan on what you want to do as you get older, but also prepare yourself mentally so that when you start having these conversations with the children, when they are mature, you are coming from a point of understanding that they may or may not come with you. With my children, I have tried over the years to connect them to the African continent so that they don't feel like strangers or look at the continent as strange, because indeed they have a heritage to share with the African continent. I am African. I was born on the African continent. I am proud to be called an African. I have no shame being called an African. There's nothing wrong. And I wanted and have been all along teaching them to accept that they are of African descent and it is absolutely okay. So now my biggest challenge is being torn between leaving them when I go back to the African continent and trying to equalize the time that I spend with each one of them. Mind you, they are in different states, different provinces here in Canada. All but one have children. So it becomes difficult. Summertime is only 3 months, and including travel time from the African continent, part of that summertime may be taken away by my travel. They also have activities that they want to do of their own in the summer. So it really becomes tricky. But I think the biggest lesson here is to be at peace with the choices that you make. Don't feel pushed, don't feel pressured. The children have to understand. I have tried to let myself be at peace with this because I say, even if I was here, I lived in California, I lived in Michigan and California. And before we left, I was in California, right on the West Coast. And all of them were on the East Coast. So I wasn't able to be with them. And even if I had continued to work, the honest truth is I wouldn't be able to visit and stay with them as long as I'm doing now. I would have been busy with my work. I would have been busy trying to make a living for myself and my husband. So I try and not beat myself up about my decision to retire and to retire away from them. I know it's far, but travel arrangements are easily made if people work together and look at it and say, hey, it is an opportunity to learn and look at other places, other cultures, other traditions on the African continent and see and incorporate them into their lifestyles here. So just as a little nudge, when you are moving abroad when you're taking your children to Asia, Australia, Europe, the Americas, just remember that these little people are going to be grown at some point. You are also aging. What choice are you making? Are you going to stay in the country or countries that your children are, or are you going to move away? But the reality is, even if you choose to stay, your children have their own lives. They are married, they have their own children, they have their own careers, they have their own lives going on. So you are not going to be babysitting them as you did many years ago. In fact, today it's all nice and quiet for me because they've gone to the movies and I didn't want to go to the movies, but I'm babysitting the dog. So when you think about it, their lives have to continue. Just because I'm here doesn't make them spend the whole day looking at me. The children want to go out. I also want to spend time, maybe just take a walk, be on my own. But them knowing that mom is around is such a comfort. But the reality is they have their own lives. I have mine too, as a retiree, as a grandmother. And my choice is to be on the African continent and visit them whenever I can. Sometimes the guilt of, oh my goodness, I left the children and it's so far, I'm not going to lie, it kicks in. But I also want to stress that it is just a guilt feeling, yes. The reality of the situation is there's no way I would have been splitting myself between East and West. I would have stayed either in the West or come back to the East to be a little bit closer because most of them are on the East Coast of both America and Canada. But then again, I have one child who is on the West Coast. So how do you balance that? So being at peace with one's choice, and my choice was to move away, go to the African continent, and make periodic visits to North America. That's America and Canada. So I just wanted to share that little bit of something that you need to think about. I wanted us to share, to talk about, look at your situation. Many of our relatives, friends have left the African continent. Zimbabwe, where I come from, a lot of people were given these sponsorship certificates where they are in Europe, in the UK, working. Some have brought children, some have left the children back on the continent. There are so many different circumstances for each person. But whatever your position is, if the children are on the continent and you're working out in Europe or in America, what is your intent? Are they going to come? Are you going to work and then choose to retire back on the continent? Or what is your situation? I think it's a conversation that you need to have. I also think it's a conversation you need to stimulate with the children so that when the time comes, you all are aware of each other's positions and you accept and make peace with it. I love the time that I come here. It's actually a time that I have a break because when I'm at home, I'm busy. I'm in the garden. I'm looking after my plants. From time to time, I raise some chickens for our own consumption. I'm really busy. I'm occupied. When I come here, I actually kind of feel like I'm not doing much, The gardens here are very small. I have a vast piece of land where I am busy from morning till evening. But over here, it is just a small, tiny little garden. So I do that, maybe weed, maybe water the garden, and that's pretty much it. I take walks, but I can only walk so much. I enjoy doing my edits in doing my videography. That's how I occupy my time. But I'm very, very happy being with my children. But the honest truth is, I've made that conscious decision to move away from the American side of this earth and go back to Africa. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It is the honest conversations that is important for you and your family to have. So hopefully this is going to help you stimulate that conversation. Be aware time moves really quickly. These tiny little people that are 5, 8, 12, before you know it, they're teenagers, they're young adults, they have their own careers. What is the plan? I'm also trying to make sure that intercontinental travel is made normal. The globe has become so small, it's easy to travel back and forth. So I'm very comfortable with moving back and forth and enjoy my visits. So in the meantime, I'm over here seeing the children, seeing the grandchildren, and enjoying that time that we have together. Share in the comments if you've gone through this situation or you have children, and if you already are thinking of starting the conversations about the future where you will either be separated by continent or by country. Thanks so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and let's see each other on the next video. Bye for now.